And thanks to a gigantic loophole, these special interests can spend unlimited amounts without even disclosing where the money's coming from. This isn't just a threat to Democrats, this is a threat to our democracy. All these attack ads, you don't know. That's not just a threat to Democrats, that's a threat to our democracy.
But this week, the United States Supreme Court handed a huge victory to the special interests and their lobbyists. This ruling strikes at our democracy itself.
This is nothing less than a vote to allow corporate and special interest takeovers of our elections. It is damaging to our democracy.
Today, the Obama re-election campaign told its financial contributors that they should feel free to contribute to so-called super PACs.
Wait a minute, didn't you just say... Hey guys, Charles Como back with another political minute. Start the 1 minute clock. This past week, Obama decided to officially embrace a super PAC to help him get elected when he had previously stated that super PACs were a threat to democracy. Has Obama gone to the dark side, you ask? In a way, yes, because it's the only way he'll get elected, period. The person who spends the most money in an election wins 9 times out of 10. Until recently, there were limits on how much money a company or a person could give to a politician for fear of corrupting that politician, which makes sense, right? Well, the Supreme Court felt that there's no proof that politicians can be corrupted by money. Yeah, right. In their Citizens United ruling, they opened the floodgates for unlimited contributions by individuals and corporations and even allowed the contributors to remain hidden. Whereas Obama's average contribution was $55 from individuals, over half of all the money that's gone to the top super PACs was given by just 22 donors, each giving over $500,000 apiece. That means that the next president could be bought and paid for by just 22 wealthy individuals. Until the law is reversed, Obama has no choice but to succumb to the dark side to get elected.
Hello? Phone call for you.
Oh, who is it?
It's Obama's super PAC.
Oh, okay, thanks. Hold on a second. Is all this money being thrown into the election a good thing for democracy, or is it a bad thing? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to be notified of the next political minute. Hello, Priorities USA. Can you please let Obama know that I've got a crisp, brand new $20 bill here with his name written all over it? I was wondering, what kind of influence will that buy me in Washington? No, not 20 million, $20. Oh, nada? Zip? Well, maybe I can bump it up to $50 maybe? Hello? Hello?